Hi guys, thank you for waiting. I'm sorry. Hi team. Alright. Hi Liz. Hi Joe. Alright. Thanks guys. Back at the old stomping grounds. I'm sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. We were at a lot of polling locations today. Thank you all for being here. Tonight we are marking another milestone, and we're happy to say another victory for the movement to make Scranton city government work as hard as the people it serves. We are deeply appreciative to the voters of Scranton who have now elected me, our team, to a full term as mayor. I also want to thank Mr. Shaw for participating in the electoral process. I wouldn't have wanted to be unopposed, and Mr. Shaw, I'm so happy that you were out there and that we were able to have a great debate and participate in the interviews that we participated in. So thank you for caring so much about our city. So 2 years ago, we stood across the street from right here after a campaign that insiders and pundits thought was a long shot, but it was one that changed the course of our city's history. We believed then, as we do now, that our government belongs to the people of Scranton, the people, not the connected few, and we watched our movement grow. This past May, we proved that our victory in 2019 was not an aberration, but a sign of our city's aspirations, that government can work for everyone, that our city can be responsive to residents, that we can build an economy right here in Scranton that will support future generations and families, and that where you are born does not determine your journey or your commitment to your chosen home. Last year, and less than 2 months after being sworn in as mayor, COVID-19 threatened to derail our plans of reforming and rebuilding our city government and our economy. We didn't wait for Harrisburg, we didn't wait for Washington, we acted and we got to work. We got PPE into the hands of those who needed it, we raised money and distributed food to keep our neighbors and children fed. We worked to get loans and grants to small businesses and community organizations to keep our main streets alive. But over the last 2 years, while we were doing our best to restore trust here at the local level, another darker movement was flourishing across America. Partisan politics of the worst kind led our federal government at the time to act far too slowly and to ignore what scientists and pandemic health experts had to say. We lost far too many of our fellow Americans to the COVID-19 virus. We continue to mourn deaths that could have been prevented had public officials and leaders listened to experts and acted in the best interests of the people that they were empowered to serve. Our movement, our governance, is based on increasing trust, the belief that government can help people, that people should come together and get things done, and that people can and should trust each other. Decades of jobs going away, politicians going to jail, created a lack of trust in the system that was justified. The lack of trust made it harder for people to come together and harder for people to believe. Darkness and distrust grew rampant, accelerated by disinformation. We're starting to see a bit of that in the poll results tonight. Neighbors who don't see one another as people facing the same challenges, who don't believe in a shared set of facts, like election results, or the need to work together to solve big problems, like fighting a pandemic or creating opportunity. We can't come together to solve problems right now. Our Congress is raided by a mob and held back by politicians who can't come together and do simple things to actually help people. Here in Scranton, we worked hard every day to dispel the notion that government doesn't work. In the face of true crisis, we didn't bicker, we didn't side with interests holding our city back. We showed up day in and day out for the people of the city. We did not seek, nor did we accept campaign contributions from city contractors because we believe that elected officials shouldn't be conflicted when delivering services to residents. This is in strong contrast to conflicts that we see play out in our capitals. But I'm hopeful about our future here in Scranton. This past year has shown us that by coming together to help our neighbors to get through frightening, unpredictable times, we can rebuild trust. Knowing that local government is responsive, transparent, and collaborative is a big step toward realizing that public institutions can be a force for good. Scranton's long been defined by hard work and ingenuity, but too often our politicians failed us by breaking our trust. We set out to do things differently. We listened. We've hosted over 40 pop-up neighborhood town city halls, and every week I've hosted a live online forum to make sure that I hear directly from residents about what they need. In this new 4-year term that will start in January, we'll continue to build on the progress we've made. We're looking forward to building a more vibrant, inclusive, equitable local economy so that young people who grow up here don't have to move away or drive long distances to find a job. We're preparing for Scranton to finally, after 29 years, shed its financially distressed label and are doing the hard work to keep the city on track for financial stability. We must continue to innovate in order to attract new residents and employers and keep growing our city, hopefully lowering taxes over time, which we're working very hard to do. We know that we cannot move forward as a community if we leave people behind. Together, we'll confront the systemic inequities and challenges that hold our community and our nation back and keep working to ensure our families and neighbors thrive. We must keep striving for a first-rate public education system, one that our kids deserve. While our daughter is only 2 years old, her future and the future of all our kids here in Scranton depends on a fully and fairly funded education system. Our teachers are entrusted with the awesome responsibility of encouraging, nurturing, and challenging young minds. Our public school educators and school staff deserve to be compensated as well as possible for their vital work for our kids and our future. While there will always have to be compromise on the path to achieving education goals, especially given the way that we fund public schools in America. No one I've ever met in Scranton believes that teachers should not be compensated for the arduous and often thankless work they do for us. So in the next term, we also look forward to expanding our outreach efforts, providing more services directly to people where they live, seeking more feedback, creating community for those who want to be involved in civic life. We look forward to building on our economic recovery and accelerating our marketing and development of our city to recruit companies, jobs, investors, families, and retirees. To do this, just like on a campaign, we will need your time, your energy, and your advice to push us forward when we're doing right and let us know when we're not. Let us restore our sense of purpose and together make Scranton the place we all want and deserve it to be. Let's work to cut through the hate and the disinformation and the attempts to tear us apart. Thanks to all of you who gave us your trust. For those of you whose trust we haven't yet earned, we hope we can serve you better. Thanks to all the volunteers that helped knock on doors and make calls for the campaign, talk to family, friends, and neighbors. Thanks to my husband, Ryan, my mom, Linda, at home with our daughter, my dad in Oregon, my brother and his partner in Montana, my whole support system, and especially to our daughter, Sloan, who has spent the first 2 years of her life sharing her life with her mom with the city. I'm Paige Cognetti. I'm your mayor, and we truly are just getting started. Thank you. I'm happy to take a question.
Mayor, have you talked to Mr. Shaw tonight?
I have not. I have my phone out here in case he gives us a ring, but we haven't.
Hey, do you think financially distressed status is gone during this term?
I'm confident that we'll come out in January, and you'll see in our budget proposal in a couple of weeks that we've got you'll see some legislation between now and January, some things that we need to check off in order to, I believe, move forward. And you'll see in our budget ways that we want to augment our fiscal abilities in the city now that Pell, after 29 years, will not be anchoring a consultant. So we are confident we can move forward, but we do need some more tools to do that.
When you said in your remarks you saw division in the results from tonight, do you mean that nationally, or did you see that locally?
So locally, we haven't seen all the results, so I'm not sure locally, but I think we got the results already, it sounds like, from Virginia. And I know, I have been focusing on our race here, but I know enough about the rhetoric that some of the key issues in the Virginia race are not based on fact. And I think there's a lot of deliberate misinformation out there, and we're seeing, I think, that in the Virginia race tonight, the results of that.